Live league action. In 2018, the Auckland Rugby League is putting the game in your hands. Never miss a hit from New Zealand's premier rugby league competition. To get the inside edge on where you can watch the action live and free, head up aucklandleague.co.nz. Live league action. aucklandleague.co.nz.
Hi, welcome in Rugby League fans. My name's Troy Hardy with ARL TV. We're being hosted down at Papakura Seagulls today for the match of the round. And joining me today is the chairman, Kevin Mitchell. Have I got that right?
That's right.
All right.
Yep.
How could I get it wrong? With Kevin and Kev, thanks for hosting us down here today. Ground's looking in fantastic shape, mate.
Yep.
We met early in the season. We're coming to the back end now, the business end. And how's things shaping up inside the club? And are you happy with the way the team's tracking?
The answer would have to be no. It's pretty disappointing. It's as I think I said at the time, it's a team that has a lot of potential. I would never have imagined that we'd be at the bottom end of the table. Perhaps I would have thought that we'd be getting very close to being in the top four, but it hasn't happened for. I can't put my finger on why not. But there's been a lot of people trying very hard, and our players and Roman's tried very hard. Novice coach, it's a big ask to be a player coach as well.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it has been a pretty disappointing year this year.
Well, look, without getting too doom and gloomy. Papakura Seagulls, from some of the games that we've seen during the course of the season, the games that they were meant to win, they didn't. The games that they won, I think they surprised themselves. And big match against Mount Albert only a few weeks back. Did any of the momentum carry forward over the last few weeks? How do you think the vibe is?
It's interesting because the following week we played extremely well again, and we were very close to winning. So over the last few weeks we've been close to winning, but we just can't seem to nail it. That seems to be the way. There's being pulled back for forward passes or balls not going to hand, that sort of thing. So final execution hasn't been particularly good. Some of it is our problem, and some of it I'd have to say is some unfortunate refereeing decisions, but that's rugby league.
Absolutely.
You get that.
Look, and in the background, we're sort of watching the reserves going around at the moment, and in regards to, injuries and what have you, you've been hit in regards to that as well.
Not so much injuries, but we've struggled to. Well, certainly the Prems, we've had a reasonably a consistent team. Our reserves, we've really struggled to field the same team 2 weeks in a row. So for various reasons, CO has tried his very best there, but again, he's a novice coach, and probably the guys that he had, he hasn't gelled with them or whatever. I don't know, but they've stuck with him. And
boxed on.
Yeah, that's a credit to them. We're still fielding a team,
Well, look, outside of the game and what happens on the field, in the background, from setting up with volunteers and definitely sponsors, and I know they're important to the club. Opportunities for next year's sponsorship, and let's talk about some of the sponsors that you have now.
Well, just talking about sponsors that we've got now, I think I said in the first round we had a new major sponsor, which is GJ Gardner's, our Manaia home, who has been previously our major sponsor, and Burnside Brothers. They're still there, and contributing, but Kid Contracting, Harvey's, and are still in there, helping us out, and also Auckland, South Auckland Motors are contributing as well.
Right.
So they're there, being a big contributing a lot to our club in terms of sponsorship.
So taking it then, there's an opportunity for some new ones to come on for 2019?
Absolutely, there's always opportunity for more sponsorship. It's not cheap to run a Premier side, successful or not.
So how would they get hold of you, Kev, through the club?
Yeah, they get hold of me. They can find my phone number or email address on our website.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, look, finally, with hosting us today on behalf of the Auckland Rugby League, we want to say thank you very much. It looks like it's going to be a grouse game for rugby league out here. The sun is out. What happens afterwards in the club?
Oh, well, like we did the last time, every home game we obviously host and
Yep.
we prepare a meal for our guests, and I think that's a really important thing. It's something that actually disappeared out of Auckland Rugby League for a while, and I think it was this club that shamed a lot of other clubs into bringing it back in, which I think is a great thing. I really think that's something that helps rugby league, the camaraderie of rugby league.
Yeah, no, good, mate. Look, and I know that to get to every match is a wee bit of a struggle. I understand you enjoy a wee bit of the live stream. How's the live stream been for you personally, and what does it mean to the club?
Well, I have to say this ARL initiative of live streaming is brilliant. I've been in Aussie the last couple of weeks, and being able to actually see it in Oz is really good. I've been down at Darling Harbour, sitting there watching the live stream while having a nice fish meal.
Yep.
So
good, mate. Well, look, once again, on behalf of the Auckland Rugby League, thanks very much for hosting us today. Corey's going to be catching up with the coaches now as we start for the build-up for today's main game. And finally, Kevin, Sea Eagles up against the Howick Hornets. How do you reckon you're going to go, Chief?
Well, I'd like to believe that we'll go very well. I'd like to think that this team will go out and they're up against some of the players that previously played. The coach is a previous player, Sean Clark. So it's always it's sort of a local derby, a bit like playing Manurewa. It's got that sort of thing. Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, look, once again, thanks very much. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. Corey Rosser and the coaches are coming up, and we'll be not far away from kickoff. Thanks very much.
All right, joining us now, head coach of the Howick Hornets, Sean Clark. Well, Sean, you come off a shutout loss to Glenora last week, the best team in the competition. What was the takeaway from that one?
We actually didn't play too bad, to be honest. Score really didn't reflect it. Our attack was quite poor last week, but our defence was probably a good talking point, actually. We actually defended really well.
Okay.
Their tries weren't back-to-back tries. We held them out for good periods of time, and they actually, we kept them in and made them look silly a few times too.
Yeah, it raises a good question because just looking at the scores from the last month, defence would appear to be a bit of an issue for your club. Is the points you've conceded, is it as bad as it looks?
I guess in patches we've been playing, like I said a couple of weeks ago. When we do play well, we are actually holding teams to tryless periods, but we are having lapses, which you have alluded to here today.
How much have you sort of dedicated this week then to, I guess, fixing up some of those lapses in defence, and how do you go about fixing that?
It's about our ball security, to be honest. If we hold on to our ball, we can actually defend, but if we have to defend too much, like any team, we're going to get tired, and teams will get on top of us and score points.
Three-way battle developing for that 4th position right now. Northcote's pulled a little bit away in 3rd position. Do you sort of viewing every week like a must-win right now?
I think it's been like that for 6 weeks, Corey, to be honest. At this stage, anybody can beat anybody with desperation times for the, bottom teams wanting to get away from that relegation. So,
Yeah.
Nobody's really safe, to be honest. And, definitely a must-win today to stay in that hunt with Otahu and Mount Albert playing each other today.
Yeah, that's right. A big game that will be with Mount Albert taking on Otahu. They're tied on points and only a narrow points difference between them as well. Now, in terms of injuries and player unavailability, how are you looking in terms of, how far are you from your first choice 17 today?
Well, it's been like that all year. We haven't had the same 17 for 2 consecutive weeks. So, to be honest, like I said the other week, it's who you put on the field. You can't rely on who's not there. So I think, again, we've got the team that can take it out today. So hopefully they can.
Come up against Papakura side today, who have been close on a number of occasions. A kind of a tough loss last week. What gets the job done against them today?
Keeping them scoreless, hopefully. Hopefully our defence can hold up. It'll definitely be a good game with players from both teams coming from this club. So, it's always a great game against Papakura. I spent most of my playing days here, so, I love this place. And, hopefully we can have a good spectacle on TV today.
And just finally, you made your debut as the women's coach out at Manurewa last week with Rusty away. 1 from 1 in terms of wins, and you get them straight to the grand final. How good's that?
Yeah, it was a good feeling. I said to the girls during the week, was actually good to coach women. They actually listen. Definitely. Hopefully I can take them to the grand final. Shot, Rusty.
All right, sure. We're going to let you go and finish warming the boys up. Thanks for joining us today, and all the best.
No worries. Thank you.
We're now joined by player coach Roman Hifo from the Papakura Sea Eagles. Well, Roman, a significant result last week. You go down to Marist. It was their first win of the year, but it now puts you guys under a little bit of pressure. Only 2 points between you guys and the bottom now. What's the reaction been this week?
I think, we were quite disappointed in the result, but I mean, Marist, they played a lot of, good footy. Can't take that away from them and at home. And I think with the position that they're sitting in, they just wanted it more on the day. And there's a few, patchy areas that obviously that we need to fix up. And hopefully today we can execute them.
It's been a common theme when we've spoken to you this year. Sometimes the team's just been, I guess, outwanted in a few games. I mean, how do you fix that, and how do you go about addressing it?
I think it's, it just comes down to the individual, and on how badly you want it. I think we play good in certain patches, but you can't. With a lot of these teams, you can't play in patchy areas. You got to play the full 80 minutes, and I think that's the downfall we've had this whole season.
Willie Stowers, typically a 6 or a 7. He moves to fullback today. Talk us through the reasons behind that switch.
I think with Willie Stowers moving him to the back, it just gives us a little bit more diversity in our attack plays. And I think, we've had Sheldon on the bench. We've got the, like Phoenix on the, that's starting. So just gives us a lot more options, and hopefully we can dent them and get some points on the table early.
Yeah, generating points sort of been a problem all year, really, for you guys. But a lot of, I guess, execution at the last gasp has sort of fallen away. So has that been a focus this week?
Oh, definitely. With Richie coming in to the squad and just helping out, he's had a lot to the team, and we've just focused really more on just the basic plays and just adding on to those, I suppose.
Injuries have been a bit of a worry for you all year, not just for the top side, but the reserves as well. What's the injury situation like right now, Roman?
Yeah, we've had a lot of injuries, and like every other team, we just gotta cop it on the chin and just move forward. No excuses there. It's a tough game, so with our injuries, I suppose it's a good opportunity for some of these reserves players to come up and get their shot and just take it.
What's the key to getting the win today?
I think we've got one of the best forward packs, I suppose, in this comp. We just haven't been able to finish off on our edges. So I think if we can lay a good foundation in the middle, I think hopefully our edges can finish off the game for us.
All right, Roman, we know we've interrupted your warm-up, so we're going to let you go off and finish that. Thanks for joining us. We're now going to throw out to the field as the full-time siren goes on the reserve game.
Cheers, thanks. Thanks.
I have to apologise for how the day you guys were here.
Hello and welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Corey Rossi here in for the call today. In round 15 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership, you can see the Howick Hornets on screen going through some of their final warm-ups. They come off a heavy loss to Glenora last week, although by all accounts their defensive performance probably a little better than the 24 points leaked suggests. But in terms of generating points, a little bit of an issue for them last week, although they won't be, well, this not the first team, and they won't be the last team to have a score put on them by Glenora. They are a fine outfit this year, so the Howick Hornets now getting ready for what shapes is a key one for them today. Mount Albert taking on Otahu, that's going to be a key one for the top four, and the Howick Hornets, well, a win today puts them in good position to move on up and put themselves right back in the box seat for that position. Now going to welcome into the commentary team for the second time today, Troy Hardy. Well, Troy, nice conditions. I guess a typical chilly Papakura breeze down here today. But other than that, the field's in great nick. Looking all pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. The sun's out, so that's a bonus for us down here, man. Look, that said, if you're in the area and, over the next 80 minutes you're wanting to watch an exciting game of rugby league, come down here, join us. Cafeteria is open, and after the match, Corey, as you heard from the chairman of the club, Kevin, the bar will be open and you can come down and enjoy a green tea.
Absolutely. Now a little look around what's going on in Auckland today. And of course, we will have viewers watching from all around the region. So the big game, Blockhouse Bay. Bay Roskill take on Pakuranga. Bay Roskill looking to maintain their undefeated start to the season. That's a big game for them. Huge ask for Pakuranga. Bay Roskill have been a fine outfit this year, led by the likes of Jerome Ropati, Ben Henry. And they've got some really good young kids that have come through the club as well. New Lynn take on Ellerslie. It shapes as a key one for New Lynn if they hope to be there in the top 8 come the business end. They had a good win a couple of weeks back against Franklin. It shapes as a big game at Lawson Park for them up against the Ellerslie Eagles. Another big one, Waitemata up against Manurewa. Manurewa sitting 4th position on the ladder right now, and Waitemata right on the edge of that top 8. And it's getting to that time of the year now where pretty much every game is a must-win for the West Aucklanders right now. That one's going on at Mountford Park. Manukau, they take on Papatoetoe at Moyle Park, and Otara take on Te Aratu. Now, Te Aratu, they started with a hiss and a roar. They've fallen away quite badly, and Otara a little bit up and down so far this year. And then the other big one, Ponsonby taking on Franklin, 2 of the top 3 sides in the competition. That's going to be a big game there as well. We'll take a little look now at some of the results from the 2nd Division last week, and Ellerslie got up for a big win over Te Aratu, 38 points to 10. It was a huge win for the Eagles, who had come off a loss and a draw the previous 2 weeks. Northern Brothers did it easy against Papatoetoe, 72-22. Manurewa, 44-1. Yes, that is correct, 44-1. Manukau kicking a late field goal to put a point on the scoreboard. We did have a few inquiries about that, whether it was a typo this week. But yes, can confirm that Manukau had the, I guess, quirky idea to kick that field goal later in the piece to make it 44-1. Waitemata, they took on the Otara Scorpions, came away with a really good win, 18 points to 16 in that one. While the Ponsonby Ponies were fairly easy winners, 50 points to 22 over the Newland Stags. The Franklin Storm, well, they led at half-time but got overrun by the Bay School Vikings, 40 points to 28. That one was played at the Waiuku Rugby Club. We're now going to bring up the ladder for the 2nd Division. Take a look at how things stand. And at the top, it is the undefeated Bay School Vikings, 12 from 12, with a huge points differential as well. They sit at the top, and well, you would think odds on now to claim the minor premiership in that one. Nestled in behind the Ponsonby Ponies, Franklin Storm, who have come off back-to-back defeats. They've dropped down, sitting now on 18 points, lost pace with Bay School, but can turn it all around today, of course, with a win against Ponsonby. Manurewa have come right. Tough start to the season for them, a lot of injuries, sitting 4th position right now. And then the Ellerslie Eagles, who have that 3-point buffer over the chasing pack. And there's the Otara Scorpions on 14, the Pakuranga Jaguars on 14. The Northern Brothers currently occupying that last playoff spot on points differential, but knocking right at the door. Waitemata Seagulls, the Newland Stags, the Te Aratu Roosters, they're not out of it yet. And then a little further back, the Manukau Magpies and the chasing pack. So that is how things look in the Auckland 2nd Division. Now take a look at some of the results in the Fox last weekend. The Tahu Leopards got up 26-14 over the Mangere East Hawks. So Tahu keeping their top 4 hopes alive with that result. Northcote, big winners in our live stream game, 36 points to 12 over Point Chevalier. Mount Albert did it easy against Richmond, 50 points to 8. Glenora 24 over Howick. We mentioned that one earlier. And the big game, Marist getting up for their first win of the year, 14-10 over Papakura. Little look at some of the games going on today, and there is a big one happening at Felds Park. Mount Albert taking on Otahu. The winner of that one, a good chance of finishing the round inside the top 4. Northcote take on Marist. Huge ask for Marist. Northcote are in great form right now, best displayed by that big win last week over Point Chevalier. Glenora take on Richmond at Greyland Park, and Point Chevalier at home to the Mangere East Hawks. And I dare say Point Chevalier pretty keen to hit back after what was a fairly heavy defeat last week against Northcote. We'll bring up now the ladder for the 1st Division and take a look at how things stand as we head into the final 4 games of the regular season. And at the top, it is the Glenora Bears. They've pulled a 2-point advantage now on the Point Chevalier Pirates. Northcote Tigers sitting there on 20 competition points in 3rd position. Mount Albert Lions currently occupying that 4th spot on differential, but it is a 3-way battle. They're all tied on 16 points. Mount Albert, Otahu and Howick, and it's only points for and against separating them right now. The Mangere East Hawks, who have had a bit of a late season resurgence, they jump up to 12 competition points, and then that battle to avoid relegation. Papakura and Richmond locked on 4 points. Marist, and picking up their first win last week, they have put themselves now in a position where they have a real shot at avoiding relegation to the 2nd Division. They sit 2 points back, but they have a far superior differential to the Richmond Bulldogs. So should they manage to pick up a victory today and Richmond lose, they would go clear of the bottom for the first time this year. So that's how things look around the grounds, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to bring back in Troy Hardy. And Troy, a couple of big games, but namely that Mount Albert versus Otahu game, that could end up being a key one come the end of the year.
Absolutely, and it'll be a fantastic game of football. Both sides really well coached. John Ackland certainly got the Otahu boys firing on all cylinders, and fit, young, keen to experiment. Get around the park. They've got great shape. They've got great strategy. And Mount Albert, well, they're hurting a wee bit. They've had a couple of rounds where they've were expected to win and they haven't. And their coaching staff won't be taking any of that lying down. So, it's going to be an interesting game, and it's one of those things where you want to be everywhere and you can't. So it'll be interesting to see, what the score is at half-time, and hopefully somebody can text that through to us, or you'll pick it up off the live score.
Yeah, that's right. We'll bring you all the live score updates at halftime from around the grounds. A big game as well for the Point Chevrolet Pirates. Troy, a little bit of a shake-up of the coaching ranks there as well. So a few changes afoot there, and they come off a big defeat last week, and they'll be hurting from that one.
Yeah, interesting to see how that played out. Zane Polkington, from my information, deciding to retire. That said, with all, I suppose, shake-ups, there's the opportunities for different players to sort of stand up and to have a go. And they've got some good coaching staff down there, so, they'll be making a fist of it, and it's probably for them, being 3-4 weeks out from the business end, that it's happening now as opposed to happening right in the middle of the finals.
Yeah, that's right. And, they're right in the mix as well. Only 2 points back from competition leaders, the Glenora Bears. They only lost 2 games all year. So looking in pretty good shape, the Point Chevrolet Pirates, and some of the talent that they have been able to, bring back into the fold for the back end of the season, namely Pakiafu, who was, arguably the best player in Auckland a couple of years ago.
Yeah, man, he was a juggernaut. Every time he touched the ball, and especially when we were going to matches of the rounds, it's hard not to pick him as player of the match. And, he got a wee bit of time with the Roosters and, went away then. I understand he did a wee bit of rugby too in France.
Yeah, and Utah as well, of all places.
Yeah.
So
Well,
there you
bless
go.
him.
They love their rugby union in Utah. He's been playing with the Utah Warriors. I caught a bit of his highlights actually as well, and looking in good shape. So he'll be a handy
Not bad for a
acquisition
centre,
for
I'm
them.
told.
Well, that's right, yeah. So I dare say he probably won't be wearing the 3 or 4 jersey come his return to rugby league. But great to see Pakiafu back. Such a talented young player, and he certainly boosts the Point Chevrolet efforts as well. Just quickly to touch on Marist Saints as well, Troy, and we've been saying it's a young team. It probably won't take much for them to sort of turn a corner here. Was last week's victory over Papakura the corner they needed to turn, and do you see them being able to maybe squeeze another result here and get off the bottom?
Well, the big thing around Marist is that the games that they've gone down or lost, they've only lost by 1 or 2 points, and they've been right in it right up till the final whistle. And whilst that is probably not helping them on where they're sitting on the ladder right now, their aggregate is pretty strong. And as I say that, here come the Papakura Seagulls onto screen viewers. And so they've got a pretty strong aggregate. So for all those 3 teams that are at the bottom of the ladder that you were speaking to just earlier, they really can't afford to drop a game, because if they go up against them, some of them don't have a good for and against, and they may well find themselves being lower than the Seagulls. So lower than Marist. So that's going to be an interesting time, for all 3 teams at the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, exciting stuff at the top and bottom of the ladder. It's been a really good year in the Fox this year, and the ladder shows that. There's battles going on everywhere. We're now going to bring up the team list and take a look at how the sides will take the field today as Papakura make their way out into the middle of the field. We'll start with the home side, the Papakura Seagulls. At the back, Willie Stow as he moves from the halves to fullback. It's going to be an interesting little shake-up there, and to be honest, I like the idea of giving Willie a little bit more time on the ball. He's able to chime in, but also his talk at the back will be big for Papakura today. The wings are Junior Napara and Keanu Naden. In the centres, Ekwini Ropati and Elijah Mercury Liafa. The halves, the experienced Kimi Iwasi joins young Sheldon Rogers up front in the engine room. The captain is Jamal Hunt. He joins Zion Tassisi in the front row. Phoenix Hunt is the dummy half. Daryl Hemopo, one of the new boys in the squad, he comes into the back row and joins the experienced Sam Ikahihifo. And locking the scrum, a very familiar name to Auckland Rugby League fans, Roman Hifo will wear the 13. And on the bench, a fairly inexperienced bench in some ways. Christopher Smithson joins Diamond Taimani, Tuiloma Footy, and then a man who's not inexperienced in any way, Vicicio Setefano, comes back into the squad.
Just going to bounce in here for a sec, Corey. A special day today for the Howick Hornets boys, and one of their players is about to click over his 100 mark, Nick Wilson. And if we can just bring the players list down for a sec, we'll see a guard of honour as the teams are starting to line up for young Nick. Well, they're trying to line up. There's There's Wally, the match manager today, with a fabulous flock of hair over there in the match manager's tent. And Nick's come on certainly over the last couple of seasons that he's been playing, and we've been fortunate enough to see him grow in stature. Had a couple of great games through the Nines tournament. It was sponsored by Sports Safe Nines. And, you know, to make 100, and most of it's been with this club. In fact, I think all of it's with Howick Hornets. Is that right?
Yeah, and he emerged in the county squad last year. A really good back rower. Gives him a little bit of, I guess, diversity in that back row. He's got that little bit of footwork as well. And, well, I think he shocked us all with his starring role at the Sports Safe Nines earlier this year. But a great clubman, and it's wonderful to see these Auckland clubs, I guess, respecting these achievements and making a big deal out of it. Because, as you say, to play 100 Fox games is not easy. There's only 18 games in a season, and if you're lucky to make the playoffs, it's only 2 or 3 more. So that's a number of years, and I guess the thing we're seeing more and more often now is guys are doing it at younger ages as well.
Yeah,
They're coming through.
And they really need to celebrate these types of achievement, you know. And whilst this is, I guess, his 100, you know, the guys are all getting ready for it. You can imagine the humour that's taking place in this lot is they're going to have a big do for him in next week's round, and it'll be a home game for the Hornets back at the Nest there. So Nick's obviously hiding somewhere. He's a pretty shy sort of character.
Yeah, he's making his way over now as the boys come through. So
we're looking at the reserves, and here comes Big Nick. Congratulations, mate. 100, well done.
So
there's
Nick
Jethro
Wilson,
Friend running in with it.
the honorary leader today, out onto the field, followed by Jethro Friend, and now the rest of the boys coming through as well. So well done, Nick Wilson. And do keep an eye on aucklandleague.co.nz. We'll have a catch-up with Nick as well to discuss all things 100 games in the next couple of days as well. Bring the team list back up now and go through the away team today, the Scott Electrical Howick Hornets. And at the back, George Edwards. Are going to need a big game out of George Edwards today in terms of generating some points. The wings are Jesse Kevin and Anthony Foy Maono. Sailoni Leava'a and Josh Tafili are the centres. And in the halves, Liam Prendergrass joins Drew Radich. Up in the engine room, Tony Tuia and Troy Pulipaki. Captain is Jethro Friend. He is the number 9. In the back row, the 100-game man, Nick Wilson, Johnny Vuiti Bau, and locking the scrum, Jonah Tau. And on the bench, Luke Armiger, Brandon Lee, Trent Bishop, isn't he a handy guy to bring off the bench, and Taylor Polder as well. So that is how the teams will take the field. Roman Hefo, the coach of Papakura, and Sean Clark for Howick.
Just a quick heads up, Corey, manager came over for Howick. Anthony Formano is at 19. Well, looks like a fabulous day down here. The sun is out, and looking forward to a great match today. Both teams got a lot on the line here. Howick will be wanting to prove a point, and you know, your preamble with head coach Roman is, you know, they're looking to be have some stickability, and you know, to sort of push forward. And you know, he had one of the biggest, strongest packs going around. And the Hunt boys, when they fire up, they certainly get a lot of momentum.
Our middle referee today, Simon Taylor, assisted on the sides by Mina Nomani and Rebecca Allison. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen, round 15 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership, and it is Papakura who get us underway off the boot of Willie Stowers. This Papakura side, been a long time since they tasted victory. It was against Mount Albert in our live stream game the last time they picked up a win. They've only had 2 wins this year. Really struggling to generate points. Only scored 16 points in their last 2 games. As Radich now shifts the ball out to Nick Wilson, who wastes no time in getting his first touch of the ball. Up over halfway. There's Tau, who's taking the ground. Flick it out the back. Prendergrass wears a shot for his troubles. Play on is the call. So a decent first set from the Howick Hornets. Get their numbers now to drag Naden to the ground. Troy, we watched the reserve game earlier. Papakura really struggling on the injury front. A number of boys, I guess, come through late to form a team in that one. It does filter up into the Fox side as well.
Yeah, it makes it hard when you haven't got a deep roster to be able to call on when you need it.
Particularly in the back line. very experienced in the centres and on the wings. Boosted today by Willie Stowers, slotting back into the number 1 jersey as Ika Hifo now jumps onto the end of a inside ball from Wasi. Wasi now clears the ruck and it goes to Stowers, who comes up to handle the kick in, and that one is going to be out on the full. So a poor first set for the Papakura Seagulls. Willie Stowers kicks out on the full. It will be a handover 45 metres out from the line. Just got the execution off a little bit there, Troy. There is a bit of a breeze around as well.
Yeah, left to right on our screen, sort of. And a special hello to Gordy Gibbons. He's down here, a special guest from the ARL Board of Directors, and enjoying some grassroots footy. And I dare say he'll be with the Warriors tomorrow night.
So Pulupaki, his first involvement in the game. It's been super impressive the times we have streamed Howick this year. Creates a really good 1-2 punch with Tony Tuia in that starting engine room. Friend now to that man Tuia, who plays at the line. They go backdoor now. Radic hands it off to Edwards. Quick hands now. They've got them stretched here to Howick. They head back inside. Tafili battling still, and he's over. Josh Tafili opens the scoring for the Howick Hornets, and it was a lovely left side shift, really. Quick hands from a number of players. Let's take a look now on the SAS replay. It all starts with Tony Tuia's crisp pass at the line, and then from here, look at this. The quick hands, particularly from George Edwards there, summed that up beautifully. The easier option was probably to pass out to his left there, Troy, but he
Sidestepping 4 players was the way to go.
took the slightly harder option, runs over about 3 blokes, and then goes over. So Josh Tafili opens the scoring for the Scott Electrical Howick Hornets.
And if you've just joined us, little sideline square box there. That was something that was new for us down here in the commentary. Very, very tricky. We might see a wee bit more of that a wee bit later as the game unfolds, as we wait for the kick to come. And he stroked that nicely. And there's another 2 points. Big thank you to our major sponsor, SAS Sporting Apparel, and of course our live stream partners, Ctas, bringing you the images and bringing them live around the world.
So Papakura back to halfway, and it all came off that error, kicking out on the full. Gifted Howick with easy field positioning, and then from there, too much class down that left edge. We saw it last time we streamed and when they beat Mount Albert. The left edge was deadly. Drew Radic operating down that side, picked up man of the match honours for the second time in as many games in terms of our live streaming, and I hear he hasn't been shy about it either. He's been letting all the boys know about it. Wilson now runs it in. Jamal Hunt involved in the tackle. Fox Rookie of the Year back in 2014. 2013, in fact, it was. A long time ago now. Slow play the ball. Jethro Friend appeals for the penalty. Prendergrass now turns back inside. There's a good carry. Still driving the legs is Vuiti Bell.
Excuse me.
Last tackle coming up now. They swing it out the back to Prendergast. Goes up over the top. Stowers claims it on the full. That's good fullback play that time from Stowers. Was quickly set upon by Jethro Friend and co.
Some of the Kura lads very, very late getting back into their shape. All in position now. You can see Roman in the background there trying to get them out to the right-hand edge. Penalty.
Getting involved.
So marker's not square. So a leg up here for Papakura.
Here we go, blue. Yeah.
Willie Stowers, vastly experienced on the New Zealand front and spent some time over in Illawarra as well, playing New South Wales Cup over there.
Yeah, good. Hold
Part of the Tonga New Zealand residence squad as well, which played at the Upright Access Man Cup earlier this year. One of the standouts in a beaten team that day.
Yeah, really nice guy too, just quietly.
Good ambassador for the game. He's part of the New Zealand Warriors wider squad for the New South Wales Cup side. So they are fairly well versed in those positions right now. And you look at the likes of Mason Lino, as Hefo now takes it to the line and goes short to Jamal Hunt.
Great jump out of the dummy half there.
Yeah,
Nice little run.
the other Hunt, Phoenix, who is one of the real young stars of this Auckland competition now, as Hefo jumps out. Last tackle coming up. This is where they've struggled. Last tackle plays Uasi. Just as I say it, he puts it down on last tackle. Their execution come plays 4 and 5 has been really poor this year, and as a result, they've struggled to generate points. Whether it's the last pass breaking down or just a poor option taken, it's an area that the Seagulls need to address. Hunt getting tangled up in the tackle that time. Leava. Wilson gets bumped back by Jamal Hunt. So good line speed from Papakura this time, and really holding their own in that middle battle this set, as Pulipaki now gets a good charge on. He's looking at the offload, but Ika Hahifo arrives just in time to close it down. Last tackle coming up. Friend goes out to his right. Prendergast steps back on the inside and keeps going now. Liam Prendergast is into open space. He's got one to beat, looking for a friend, gets taken to ground, and that'll be the handover. So a heads up play that time from Liam Prendergast. Looked up and saw a bit of a gap and very nearly went through. Had there been a player looming in support there, perhaps a different story for the Howick Hornets. Not a bad result anyway, although conceding the penalty won't help there.
Can't do that, Tony.
He can't hit the referee. Can't do that, Tony.
It goes back.
So second penalty for the Seagulls. Another leg up for them as they kick for touch.
It always is. Thanks, Vic. Here we are, fellas, just in front of the line. Oh, go. Running. Good. Up now! Stands well! Oh, done.
Uasi looks out to his left edge. Ika Hifo, that's a good carry. Although, as I say that, ball comes loose.
Knock on Howick.
Knock on Howick's going to be the call. So it'll be Papakura who maintain possession.
Offload Papakura, knock on Howick.
Knock on Howick, Papakura ball, offload.
As Tony Tuia arrives for another audience with referee Taylor.
On the line, 3.
Let's go. Chicken's bonding, Lucy's down. George, wrap around, George. Down, Tony, down. Out!
So Rogers now shifts it on. Stowers gets some early ball. Willie Stowers now accelerates through a little gap. So promising signs for this spluttering attack right now for Papakura. Had some
Here we are.
likely looking options already in this one. Phoenix Hunt now shuffles out to Rogers. Rogers has Stowers to his right. Instead plays back inside to Mercury Liafa. Another penalty. Second effort from George Edwards. So Papakura will be keen to keep things moving here.
Here we are, guys.
Tap and go.
Indeed it is. Mercury Liafa. Change of direction now. Squares up. Mercury Liafa still going, and Edwards just crunches him right in time because he was over for an easy try there. Now Hunt clears the ruck. Hefo hands off, and Tesesi puts it down. Well, no one but themselves to blame for that one, Papakura. That's a really poor mistake. And now they're asked to muscle up again in defence. So that's 2 drops inside the attacking 20 now as well. Tuia.
Good. 3.
Pulipaki shuffles on, and now they're into a little bit of gap down the right-hand side, and it is Liava'a accelerating away. He's taken down 35 out from the line.
Correct. On.
Vuiti Bao straightens, runs it to Sessi, who holds on down low.
Hold. Go last.
Friend jumps out, goes right edge now. The ball goes over the top, and it's cleaned up by Naden at the back, who needs to be careful, doesn't get too close to that sideline.
Move it now, move it now.
Go. 1. Movement.
Dominant tackle that time on Ropati.
Hold, hold. 2. Movement. 13 up. 13 not square. 13.
Default goes to the line. He's taken down.
Reach down. Get up.
Haven't seen much from Phoenix Hunt yet, Troy. We know that he has genuine pace at the bottom of the ruck. As we see a mistake there, forward pass out of the bottom of the ruck.
Jump. Out.
Yeah, Papakura with a couple of opportunities early, and as you've alluded to, you know, just execution wasn't there, especially with the last penalty up here. Then they had the handling error, and they're only about two plays into it, and you know, they're attacking on the line, and next thing they know, they're back down inside their territory.
Let's get formed into
So
it.
Tony's having a conversation out here with the referee. What really is going on is we're breathing.
Full pass. Let's go.
Okay, now we're ready.
Let's stop trying to make excuses for yourself, rest. Let's just get on with footy, eh? When you're ready, Drew.
Radic feeds the scrum. Out it comes. And back on the attack now go the Howick Hornets. Now Edwards works down the
Up now, keep
right-hand edge.
Hold, hold. 1.
So Lonnie Liava'a, who's
Reach down.
heavily involved early, despite the opening try coming down that left side. The right side's carried plenty of work now as Tuia goes to the line, goes backdoor again. Look out, it's on again down the left. They straighten via Tafili.
Hit the line.
The 10 metres out from the line. Quick play of the ball. Friend jumps off the back of it now. Sizes up Jamal Hunt. Jethro Friend. Too easy.
Great run.
Jethro Friend looks up, spots that they're not quite square, and takes full advantage of it. Great play from the skipper. Let's take a look on the SAS Sports replay. Starts again with Tuia going to the line. It looked likely here. I thought they were going to keep going left, but they straightened on this occasion via Tafili, who took a couple with him. But the key one here was the speed of his play of the ball. Got straight to it, almost beat Jethro Friend to it, actually. And then you can see here,
They all
space
shaped
is
to go
there.
that way, didn't they? To the left, and he just read it early, and away he went.
neat little bit of footwork as well. Squeezes between two Hunt brothers. Scores Howick second.
Just take an extra step, especially for Papakura, because they look like they're in front, but they're not.
Drew Radic now lining up the goal kick. And adds another 2. So the Scott Electrical Howick Hornets lead 12 points to 0 over the Papakura Sea Eagles. Shout out to the Sea Eagles as well, a new sponsor on board in the shape of GJ Homes, joining Mania Homes as sponsors of the Premier team. See over the back there as well, a couple of others, Burnside Bros, Bailey's, and Kid Construction. So Willie Stowers back to halfway.
Time to run. Stay behind kicker. On you, Willie. Line's good.
Back to it we go.
Here we go.
And now running off the back fence. Look out. Pulipaki aims up, but Hifa tackles him well.
Hold. Good one.
Miss out Edwards. Vuiti Bell.
Reach down. Jamal up. Here we are. Left side, left side. Hold. 2.
Friend to Tuia.
Movement. Let him up. Down him. Go 3. Movement. Stay in line. Hold. Hold. 4. One last turn. Go last.
Friend to Radic. Radic now goes to the line, finds Edwards out the back. There's space down the left. Well cleaned up though, and Stowers is on hand to scoop it up. So again, they're favouring that left edge, Troy. That looks like the side of the field where they want to go. Both their tries coming down that side so far as Papakura now
Movement. Let him
look
up.
to work
Good
it out.
No early. No early. Good. No marker. 10. Movement. Stand 2. Push it back 4. Oh. Go 3.
Tisesi,
Move now. Tony. Lock in.
former Mangere East Hawk.
4.
His 4th year now with Papakura. Very much part of the makeup here.
Great
Now there's a
offload.
gorgeous offload to Willie Stowers, who is now in the clear. Stowers, he's only got Edwards to beat. Little bit of footwork. Stowers. Edwards arrives for the second effort. Quick play the ball needed. Rogers jumps out. Have they gone the wrong way? Now Stowers works down that side. Ball in, but
4. Offside.
offside is the call.
Never made it back.
Must be very close to a professional foul there as well. What about the offload from Jamal Hunt?
Not me.
You did exceptionally well with that. That certainly opened up Wooly and got a great turn of pace, hasn't he? Fantastic vertical sidestep there. Do you see that fancy footwork? Beautiful to watch.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm liking what we're seeing of his shift to fullback so far, Troy. He's just able to pick his moments a little bit better. He's not burdened by having to make 20 tackles a game. And so far, he looks the most likely for the Seagulls. That's a terrible offload.
That's 1.
Yeah, you can hear some of the Howick boys yahooing. They're very happy that they get the ball back.
Go 2.
And again, it's on play 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Play on. Reach down. Turn. Oh, Bukane.
12
Three.
offside, 12.
We'll play on.
Trying to milk a penalty there.
Movement. Stay on the line. With me left side. Go 4.
Friend brings Tuia in.
1 last. Turn. Good. 4 off.
Prendergast gets to his kick. And we'll find Stowers on the full. He hands it back to Naden now, who's met by an angry wall of blue.
Off the leg.
The frustrating thing for Papakura there, Troy, is actually their defence after the mistake was very good. They managed to trap Howick
Surrender.
down deep inside their own half, but just some terrible decisions being made on the ball right now from the home side.
Next one. Let's go.
Yeah, they get the opportunity. You know, they're trying to build a bit of pressure down there and just crazy errors.
Looks like Tuiloma footy on for his first touch of the ball. He's a brilliant player, this guy. Adds some real impact off the bench. Watch out for his carries. And also his quick play the ball with Phoenix Hunt in around dummy half as well.
Play on.
I don't get big minutes out of him, but he's
5 last.
very, very effective while on the field.
Keep coming, keep coming.
And they swing it out to Hunt, who will get to his kick. It's a high one. It'll be uncontested, and it'll be way too deep as well. So once again, poor finish to the set. They're just not getting their head around what they need to come last tackle. And you can see there the discussion going on. Roman Hefo having a chat to a few of them.
Here we go. Here's the ball here.
Wait for the Steeden ball to
the
come back
middle,
in.
George.
Big thanks to Steeden, the official ball for the ARL.
Zero's coming. Zero's coming. Up now, Sheldon. Oh, 0.
Trent Bishop now onto the field as well.
We are,
His first involvement.
1 there.
Back at the club after a brief
Make it.
spell with Mount
Here
Albert.
we are.
Didn't he have a big game against Mount Albert, eh? What a way to be welcome back home.
Yeah, I think he might have enjoyed that one as well, just quietly. Trent Bishop.
Movement. Let him up. With me, Sam. Oh, 3.
Armiger clears the ruck and goes to Tony Tuia, who bumps his way forward. Gets the offload as well. Now George Edwards on hand to pick it up. George Edwards is still going. He's only got 1 to beat here. Edwards. Help arrives. They take him to ground. They're 10 metres out from the line now. Armiger heads left. Radic holds it up, floats it over the top. It's picked off by Napara, who's now into open space. Junior Napara. Brilliant covering tackle from Trent Bishop. Might well be a try saver there, although might be in some trouble here, Trent Bishop.
Second effort.
Penalty sufficient. Enough men had got back.
Well, there'll be one thing that the coaching staff want to have a look at. Sean, the head coach over there, you know, they've given away 5 penalties so far, the Howick Hornets. And that's been one of the... Oh, and then we've saved the camera down here. No need to worry about that. Grant from Ctas. New ball back on.
The ball flies into the commentary box. Papakura get back underway via Jamal Hunt. Spent some time over in Australia with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Played for the North Sydney Bears over there. Some time with the Canterbury Bulldogs as well.
North Sydney Bears, a legend from there, mate. Mark Graham. How good's that guy? NRL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's right. One of Auckland's finest. Recognised as the first ever Kiwi in the NRL Hall of Fame. Of course, Stacey Jones and Ruben Wiki were up for nomination as well. They miss out on that occasion, although I dare say those two's time will come as well.
Those two selected, Mark, as well.
Uasi plays short now and straight up over the top. Setafano to Willie Stowers. And Papakura on the board. And what a carry from Vicesio Setafano. Let's take a look now on the SAS replay.
No, that's a big forward carrying sidestep there, straight through him.
Fresh on the park. This will be his first touch of the ball. And this is a fair way to make yourself known. Look at this. Bang. Straight over the top of one.
Yeah, defender left the ground too early. Basically, he had no traction to hold that back. It was all over.
And great support run from Willie Stowers as well. Popped up at just the right time there. And spectacular finish as well. That'll make for nice viewing on the highlight reel.
I think he's enjoying the fullback position. So again, you know, that sort of territory came off the back of a penalty. They got down there, executed well, and couldn't have wished for a better hit at the line than that big, strong carry.
Stowers now to attempt to make it a 6-point gap.
Just in the background, some of our viewers will be picking up the audio there. Referee's telling Tony, no, you just make sure Jethro comes and sees me. So Tony's gone back to the crew now. They're having a bit of a chin wag down there. Beautiful day for rugby league.
Stowers steps in, hit it nicely off the boot, and it is over. So the Papakura Sea Eagles close the gap down to 6 points. And really, it's off the brilliant carry from Setafano and then the offload to Stowers, who we've mentioned his name a number of times in this one, Troy. We said he looked the most likely, and at that time just popped up at the right time. It was a heads-up play from him. Once the big fella got clear, he knew he was going to need some help. So Uasi fields a difficult ball which comes down, and then he finds Hunt, who takes them up over the 20. So they need to really establish this power game now, do Papakura, and this man will help. Setafano, look at the legs. Goes 5 meters post contact. Phoenix Hunt jumps on the bottom. Hands off to Roman Hefo. Howick doing a really good job of slowing this play of the ball down, though. They've taken Phoenix Hunt, his running game, completely out of the game so far. And Kimi Uasi, that's an uncharacteristic error from Uasi, who is so experienced, both here and in Australia. Played for Tonga as well. Hunt swings it out the back, and Uasi puts it down. And dead set. Phoenix Hunt got to dummy half that time. He wasn't even sure where the ball was going. There's just not enough talk going on there as we have time off now.
It started from that first play of the ball. The dummy half, passed the ball out. Whether it was a shocking pass or nobody was running onto it, they were already under pressure at that point before they got to the second and third play of the ball.
So handover and back into it we go. So they just keep letting Howick off the hook here to Papakura. It's been a terrible display in terms of handling already, as we see fresh legs on the park in the shape of Taylor Polder. Armiger shifts play on. A little bit of footwork now from Liava.
Up now, Kimberley, Mark.
Up now.
An early change with Jethro Friend coming off. We usually see him play significantly longer minutes in that first stint. Whether that's tactical or Jethro's brought an injury into this one, not too sure. Armiger now jumps out. Luke Armiger spots up and he's going to go very close, pops the ball out. It's loose. Radic picks it up and now he's got some support in the shape of Bishop, who bumps and carries.
Play on.
Flicks another offload out the back. Fourth tackle it is. Radic now dancing. Goes to in front of the uprights. Radic hanging the ball out. Last tackle now coming up. Armiger, his halfback's out of the play. Spreads it back to the middle instead, and Prendergast kicks in behind, but Stowers, great positioning and does really well to get out of the end goal.
Good one.
Willie Stowers having a big day in the fullback position, isn't he?
Naden breaks through the first one now, and now he's into a little bit of space here. George Edwards drives him into the ground, says, don't come back this way again.
Good, 11.
Footy. Well party, in fact, on that occasion. Looks like Kimi Iwasi now has jumped into the dummy half role for Papakura. He jumps out, goes a couple before being tackled by Howick's dummy half, Armiger. Hunt now swings it out the back to Hefo. And isn't it messy?
Offload, still 4.
They are lacking some direction right now. Rogers back to the middle to Stowers. Now Stowers will crab across field. Stowers wears a shot.
Reach down, 5 rounds. Hold. Go last.
Hunt to Rogers. Rogers gets to his kick. It's in behind. Napara is chasing, although he's offside. So Edwards picks it up and he'll have a free run back to make 10 or so metres
Off the leg.
before he's taken the ground. But again, that time, Troy, we just saw so many passes breaking down, almost guys getting in the way of each other.
Roll.
Yeah, it just looked a little bit disorganised. Showing a wee bit of strength here in that carry.
Hold.
Trent Bishop now straightens things up, leaves one on the ground and gets to a quick play of the ball as well. That's good work from Trent Bishop. Armiger now jumps on the back of it and brings Wilson in. Wilson, if he can promote second phase, there is space down the left. Instead, he's taken the ground. Last tackle coming up. Radic jumps out of the bottom of dummy half. Kicks over the top. He sort of scuffed that one and Naden will pick it up without consequence. So into a bit of an arm wrestle now this game, and both sides just trying to establish themselves in the middle. No clear sort of dominant team so far in terms of the forward packs, but really the only reason Papakura are behind on the scoreboard is their own mistakes. They have gifted Howick field positioning for their 2 tries, and Howick have been classy enough to finish them.
He's tap and go, the big fella. Keen.
He was off to the races. Unfortunately, no one else was. I'll go back again. Troy, you mentioned the penalty count,
Yeah,
which
mate,
is
she's growing. That's half a dozen they've got now, so that'll be something head coach Sean will be wanting to tighten up with the Howick boys.
you wonder how much of it is the pre-planned tactic of trying to slow that play the ball down, because I mentioned before what a good job they've been doing of it. They've taken Phoenix Hunt's running out of the game, but perhaps a couple of occasions have just pushed it a little too far. Stowers puts this one to touch. Great opportunity now for Papakura to square things up as the half hour ticks over, and Setafano looks up. Surely he won't pass. No, he won't. Instead, he'll drive those legs and is taken down about 32 metres out from the line. Battles for quick play of the ball. Poor pass out of dummy half again. Footy now. Tuiloma Footy. Wilson is the man to take him to ground. It's a quick play of the ball now. Hunt jumps off the back of it. Hunt now to Iwasi. Iwasi was staggering when he caught the ball. Another penalty against Howick. Up high, and to be fair, probably a little bit unlucky that time, Howick, because Iwasi was falling as he
Going
received
down,
the ball.
yep.
Stowers waiting for the call, gets it, and hands off to Hunt, who
Settles it up.
Up now, Lingo.
is taking the ground 10 out from the line. Hefo goes to the line. Hefo, Roman Hefo, straight through. Just like that, Roman Hefo straightens up, goes over, and Papakura will have the chance to even things up with the kick to come.
Be interesting on the SAS replay here who he goes through. So a lot of wrestling going in on the play the ball here. 3 defenders in. looking for the quick play of the ball. This is looking dangerous. See, they were communicating just by looking at each other in the eye, and Raymond's going, yeah, I'm in here. And he shaped the pass. No, split the line. And they're really soft try, wasn't it?
And I dare say the man he had looming in support probably had a fair bit to do with that. Tuiloma footy just hanging off his right shoulder. He certainly got the attention of Nick Wilson. And fair enough, too, because he is a deadly ball carrier. But good play there from Hefel. And Stowers to give his side the chance to even up at 12-all.
As we wait for the kick to come, we have another special guest down here today with us, Corey. Shane Price, the Deputy Chair for the Auckland Rugby League, and a bit of a historian in the ARL game. He's certainly pumping a lot of history into the Carlo Park Diehard site. And if you're wanting to catch up on some fabulous history, past games, Carlo Park, team photos, and the kick is successful, jump into the site there. There's a ton of information, a lot of good stuff being put forward, and Shane's obviously got a vault of that stuff, and he's starting to share that out now. So fabulous stuff.
Yep, a really good resource for those appreciators of the history of the game, I guess. Some great photos on there as well. I think you've even got one of the Queen kicking off on Carlo Park and some of the different events that went on down there.
Yeah, that was Mrs. Carlo. Queen was benched that day. Yeah. Getting a bit of a sense here as the Seagulls are getting their tails up. Another great carry.
Yeah, Sheldon Rogers, heads up play that time, jumps off the back of it. They've basically got 3 dummy halves on the field right now, do Papakura, in the shape of Rogers, who's usually a dummy half, playing halfback, and both Phoenix Hunt and Kimi Iwasi. And we see all 3 of them at times getting to the bottom of the ruck. So it's an interesting tactic. Hunt picks up and finds Hefo, who finds Tasesi. Now in Zion, Tasesi drive him. He's taken a ground 20 out from the line. They go to the left edge. Iwasi dinks a kick over the top. Chase is coming. Keanu Naden, has he beaten everyone to the ball? Keanu Naden scored here.
Yeah, they're happy.
And what about that? Out of nowhere, Keanu Naden appears. And at first, it really didn't look like there was much on here, Troy. The kick coming over the top from Iwasi.
Nicely weighted.
You see in the far left of your screen here, there's nothing on until all of a sudden it is on. Keanu Naden beats everyone there. It's a great call from the referees as well on the spot to make the call on that one. And all of a sudden, the Papakura Sea Eagles have the lead.
SAS Fox Memorial brought to you by the ARL TV team. Live streamed by Ctas, our live stream partners. And live all around the South Pacific Islands as it goes out through Pacifica TV. Hope you're enjoying the Rugby League today. Coming to you from the Papakura Seagulls home, Prince Edward Park, as we wait for the kick to come. And great to see all the families out around the sidelines. The young ones have left their chairs and probably climbing most trees over that side there, Corey.
Stowers away on this occasion, so the score remains Papakura Seagulls 16, Scott Legical Howard Hornets 12. 5 minutes remaining in the first half here. What a comeback from Papakura. Really looking very stagnant in attack, but all of a sudden it came to life. And that time, well, I've been critical of their last tackle plays, but that time Iwasi was right on task, and great chase from Keanu Naden as well. Jesse Kevin now gets us back underway, fielded by Iwasi. Hands off to Tasesi, who just about goes through the first line. Prendergast did a really good job to hold on down low there. Now Iwasi jumps into dummy half, and he bumps his way to a few extra meters. Look at this. Look at the spring in the step of Papakura all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think Papakura has worked their bench really well. You know, they've injected their big bookends in at the right time. Certainly got some momentum on now.
Hefel goes to the line, puts footy into a gap. Good defense down low, though, from Wilson. Ball comes loose. And is that the play that sort of kills off the momentum they were building here? So, drop just short of halfway. Tell you what, Howick have been forced to do a fair bit of defence in the last few minutes as well, so
Absolutely.
they'll appreciate this use of the ball.
Take a step back, 15, 15, 15, out! Up now, 5! Hold, 1. Play on, off the left man.
See in the background there on the Howick bench, two of their most experienced, Friend and Tuya, on the bench at the same time, so certainly lacking probably a couple of voices right now on the field as well.
Rocking markers. Hold. Go 3.
Loving this left edge again, Corey. I think you called that early.
Bishop bumping his way forward. Bishop still going. He's eventually tackled 30 out from the line. Armiger jumps into dummy half. Jumps out and had Radic looming in support. Last tackle now. Bishop to Radic. They work the left. Radic puts it on the ground. Stowers is there to collect. An intelligent play from him to get the ground quickly as well. Now Napara comes in looking for a bit of work.
Up now! Turn! Hold, 2. Release down! Turn! Stretch! Hold. Go 3. Kick it. Movement! Stand next!
Papakura now
Hold.
work it out from
Good 4.
deep inside their 30. They've done wonderfully well to turn this game around. They're in control right now.
Hold. Go up.
It's thanks to that power game, which they have dominated in the last few minutes. Rogers gets to the kick, finds Kevin on the full, who taps it down and then picks it up. And it's a fairly good chase as well. A little bit of a risky play that time brings Edwards in. Edwards is now into a little gap. So they rolled the dice there and came away with a bit of a reward there. Another 10 or 15 metres gained.
Up now! Turn!
Liava
Hold 2.
Dropped it.
ball loose, and Ika Hifo picks it up. So Papakura really making their mark on this game now. And you can just see the excitement in this team almost right now, Troy. There's people lining up for carries. Play the balls are a little bit quicker. Ropati now bumps forward, plays in the centres. He's big enough to play in the back row. Hunt to Wasi. Wasi dummies and then gets the offload away. Ika Hifo looking for one more, pops it out and just came too late. And by then the Howick Hornets were in position and they pick it off. It's impressive stuff initially from Uasi.
Up now! Hold 1. Lift down! Silence! Hold 2.
Howick
Up now!
take it forward and that'll get us to half time. So it is the Papakura Sea Eagles who, after going down 12-0 early on, hold a 16-12 lead at the break here in round 15 of the SAS Fox Memorial Premiership.
Yeah, Corey, sort of just to recap that first 40 minutes, it'd be fair to say Howick were definitely getting, most of the yardage on. They were completing sets. They were looking really tidy. They only had one handling error, but given away far too many penalties, and that was what was getting, Papakura Sea Eagles into attacking formation. And I dare say that'll be top of the list for the head coach over there. So don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a highlights package from last week's game. And if the young fella at the Auckland Rugby League's any good, there might even be a little hello from Mark Graham.
This right edge, and it's a little bit sloppy. Daniels picks it up and loops one over the top. James Waterson kicks in behind. James Waterson opens the scoring, and it's individual brilliance from Waterson. Connick Kicks across the body. That's a bit of a tricky one. Barner's following his day. Oh, Thomas Barner. Connick back inside now. A little bit of footwork. They're in again, the Tigers. Connick goes to the line, kicks in, taking a horrible bounce. Thomas Connick won't mind. Latu to Seal. Chris Seal straightens. 5 meters out from the line now, Seal. Latu gets to a quick play. The ball goes up the back to Arona. Arona holds it up beautifully. They've got space on the edge here. Foimoano. Gary Foimoano hits back to Point Chevalier. Classy try out on the right edge. Tiaho cops a late hit for his trouble. Waterson. James Waterson was the pass forward. It's going to be okay. James Waterson's got his second. North Coast got their fifth. Gets to the kick. And he's down and behind. Solomona's chasing hard. They need to be aware here. Solomona flicks it back in. That's brilliant. Kenny Gavitt's going to score here. Skillful forward pack here at Birkenhead. As Nalu Tuigamala now breaks through. Tuigamala with one to beat. Brilliant low tackle though from Otanuku. Quick play the ball. Rice goes left edge. Connick gets to his kick. Thomas Connick! There it is. There's his second. And Thomas Connick is having a field day. Just short of the line. Latu. Dummies. Plays short. Too easy. Kenny Gavitt. He forces the error with a big defensive hit. Last tackle coming up. Lock is the dummy half. Tiaho's been tackled, which means Lock kicks from dummy half. James Waterson. There's his third. Try which you would think would put it beyond doubt. Connick directing traffic. They got space here. The Pirates. There it is. And it is Kenny Stewart.
Well, Taylor Daniels, a resounding victory for your boys. How does that feel?
Yeah, bro, it's massive. We haven't beaten them since I started playing Fox, mate. So it's really massive for myself, for the club. That win, shows that we deserve to be there at the end of this year. Should we win the next few games and stay in that top four?
Northcote just held the middle down as well as what we wanted to try and do, but they just came out on top. So great young players in their team. They come a long way, it just shows the depth that they have at this club. It's awesome for them. Big turning point for us, actually, coming this halfway through the season. Good learning curve, actually, bro.
G'day, Mark Graham here. I'm here on ARL TV.